You might be wondering how to activate the adaptive cruise control. It was confusing for me the first time. So here in this video, we'll be showing how you can use the adaptive cruise control as well as the traffic jam assist. Hi guys, my name is Don and I'm not a pro driver. The controls are found here. I just want to point out the controls here at the left side of the steering wheel. There are 3 rows, alright? So the first row is, well, the top. And then we have the middle row and then we have the bottom row, right? Only the 2 rows at the top and the bottom are used for adaptive cruise control. First at the bottom, we have the activate on and off buttons. So we have here is the adaptive cruise control, all right? And then this is the icon for traffic jam assist and ICA, which stands for integrated cruise assist. And then we have here set. I'll show you later how they work, okay? And then we have at the top, we have the clearance button. That's actually cool. And then we have the cancel, and then we have the resume or plus. Oh, by the way, the set, you would see set, it has a minus symbol, and then resume button has a plus. When adaptive cruise control is on, you can set your speed. And this is how you would do that, these buttons. So adding speed and then decreasing speed, or the maximum speed, or the target speed. Let's turn it on first. Let's see what happens in the cluster. So now, if I press this button, the adaptive cruise control, if I press this, you would see something like this. It says ACC on. And then here at the cluster, there's this, car with a clock, or sorry, not clock. It's like your speedometer with an arrow and then 3 dashed lines and then kilometers per hour. That is where your speed target is set. Later on, I'll show you. If I tap on this button, so this is on. It's not activated. It's just on. And then this is traffic jam assist. So if I tap on this, so it says here TJA and ICA on. And then you would have that icon at the top with the steering wheel. It's the same icon as the one found in the button right here. In a way, traffic jam assist is, how should I call this? It's still adaptive cruise control. It's just made for traffic jam assist. It's not really for cruising. From my experience, that's how I use it. If there are like stop and go situations, this is the mode that you want to use. You might be wondering while you're driving, how do you set this, right? What happens? Because we have this button right here. You would see that it's changing. Right now, we don't have an object in front of us. But if there is, you would see an image of a truck, a car, a motorcycle, or even a person standing in front of the car when you look at the cluster. So that's a clearance button. Even though you don't have that visually represented yet here on the road while I'm idle, you would see that as well here on the left side of the mode right here. It says eco, right? You would see these 2 cars. So this car on the right is you, and then there's the other car. It sort of sets the clearance between you and the car in front of you, sorry. So you would see how much distance it will try to maintain while cruising. This is one factor it considers when to brake as well, all right? Once it's activated, right? Because right now it's on, but it's not activated. But once it's activated, you could tap on this button, the cancel button. Right now you don't see it because it's not working. But once you tap on this, then you would see ACC canceled. But it's still on. So there are 2 states, remember. It's on. While it's on, active or cancel. And then while it's off, then it's off. So right now, traffic jam assist is on. If I want to turn that off, all I have to do is press this button again because it's on. I just want to turn it off. I just press off. There we go. So it says there, traffic jam assist and ICA cancel. That also goes the same with ACC on and then off. Here's the thing. You don't have to tap ACC button first if you want to go directly to traffic jam assist. I thought that was a thing, but it turns out I can just tap on traffic jam assist and you can see that the icon for ACC and traffic jam assist is already on, right? So now we know how to use them. Let's put them to use. Let's go for a drive. I'm going to turn on adaptive cruise control. Once you hit that, adaptive cruise control is now on. And when you press set, there we go. You would see ACC active. Yeah, it's driving on its own. So let me change my view here. So here we go. You could see that I have a car in front of me. And that's here based on the clearance. So you have 3 presets when it comes to clearances. It's this is the longest. So you would see that it's going to decelerate depending on the distance in front of the car, and then this is the nearest, so it will accelerate a bit more. Hold on. It should accelerate, because I need to increase the speed using this. Hold on. So here we go. So I set it to 100, right? And it's going to catch up. Yep. So that's a distance. So if I increase the distance between the front of the car and this car, so this is yellow and then the other is green. You can see that even though I've set the speed 100 kilometers per hour, it's not going that fast because of the fact that there is another car in front of me, right? Again, if I increase my distance, there we go. It's going to set the distance from the car in front of me to, there we go. So here is a good example. So it doesn't detect any car anymore. And then it will speed up a bit. And then there we go. We have another one. It's gonna try and catch up. Okay, so here's another car. And then now I'm decelerating, right? And so there's this certain distance that it's trying to maintain. Once I hit brake, then you could see ACC cancel, right? So I've deactivated ACC. But it doesn't mean that it's turned off completely. You could resume this by pressing the res button at the top right corner. Right now, if I do that, it says unable to active ACC. That's because I haven't reached the minimum speed limit for ACC to work, and that's 30 kilometers per hour, right? But from here, that's where we can go into traffic jam assist. So if I tap on that and tap on set, oh, hold on. Just move on a bit and then set. There we go. So it's now active. And let me increase the speed here for a bit. So up to 60, let's say. In a way, it's following the car. So you can see the steering wheel. It's doing its own thing. Okay. So just like the lane assist systems, once it detects that you don't have your hands on the steering wheel, it will alert you to put your hands on the steering wheel. So at any point, by the way, you can cancel your traffic jam assist using this button, the cancel button. If I tap on this, you would see ACC canceled, right? But you haven't turned it off yet. You could see that the ACC or the traffic jam assist is still grayed out. It is on. The way you would know that it's off is when you press traffic jam assist, this button, it will just say TJA and ICA canceled. Okay. Oh, by the way, so if you can actually use traffic jam assist right off the bat without pressing ACC. I can press traffic jam assist just once and it will activate ACC as well. So ACC, then traffic jam assist. It's like ACC is a prerequisite of traffic jam assist. So that's how I'm seeing this. And it's seeing this car as a truck. Okay, there we go. You would see once it brakes, there we go. It takes some time before it says to activate ACC, please step on the accelerator, right? So right now, even if the car moves in front of me, it will not move forward. It will not try to move forward until I would step on the gas. And that means that I'm telling the car deliberately to, okay, let's move forward, right? All right, there we go. So if I step on the gas, there you would see that it's active. To resume something, so let's say I'll cancel this first, or I'll deactivate the ACC. So if I press on this, I'll deactivate ACC. To resume, just press on the top right corner again, right? So traffic jam assist does have that behavior of like the lane keep assist system, wherein it has the tendency to steer for you, right? The car will steer for you. I'm just not sure how it steers. Is it following the lane or is it following the car in front of you, or is it both? Because sometimes you would see that the green icon, when it turns green, sometimes it just turns off. The ACC is still on, but you know, it just deactivates us. So let me resume here. There we go. The other problem that I found with traffic jam assist is it brakes too hard when trying to go into full stop. It's not my type of braking. Going into, let's say here, there we go. So it's like it's really slamming on the brake, right? So I can't believe I forgot this. There are settings for adaptive cruise control and traffic jam assist. So if we go here on the infotainment system, so cloud, vehicle settings, and then under that we go to auxiliary drive. And then if you scroll down at the bottom, you would see TJA and then ACC right here. So right now, TJA is off. If I turn this on, it's the same as pressing the button here, the traffic jam assist button, right? So you could see that this will turn on without me pressing this. There we go, right? I don't know why you would want to do this here. I mean, you already have the physical button here anyway. And then the other option is ACC right here, second to the last. And here you would have maximum, standard, and minimum. So this is like the clearance button here, right? Okay, so right now it's not on. If I just turn on ACC first, you see I could change this. So this is like green, and then this is red, yellow, green. Again, I don't know why you would want to set it here, but I think the reason why you would want to set it here is because this was supposed to be like a standard. This is like every time you turn on ACC, whatever you set here is the default, regardless of your last choice. Now you have this option right here, this toggle, last choice on or off. For me, it doesn't make sense because, okay, so here, for example, so if I turn it off, here it's minimum, right? And if I would change this to, let's say, the maximum, I turn it off. Now it would seem like, since that I've set it on the infotainment system to minimum, when I turn this on, it should be minimum, right? But when I turn this on, it's still at maximum, right? It's still green. It should be red, but it's green. So again, going back to that setting, auxiliary drive, and then here ACC. This last choice, I don't know, maybe it's a bug because whatever the last option I use, maximum, standard, or minimum, it goes back to that option whenever I turn on ACC. Remember when I said that you can access traffic jam assist directly, right? Using this button. So if I do that right now, traffic jam assist, you could see that it's on and it automatically turns on ACC as well, the adaptive cruise control, right? You can turn off adaptive cruise control without turning off traffic jam assist. Now, traffic jam assist is still on. It's still grayed out. However, it's kind of weird because it's there. It's like it's on, but I can't activate it. It should be aligning me with the lane, but it's not doing anything. So I hope you learned something here in this video, especially for if you were like me, you know, a beginner at adaptive cruise control. It does take some time for you to trust the system. You know, when it brakes, when it accelerates. I turn it off, especially traffic jam assist, when you're inside a village and you're turning, like left or right, you know, it's a 90-degree turn in an intersection or whatnot. I'm not that confident yet. Or am I doing it wrong? I don't know. I really do hope this video gives you that confidence to use this feature more, especially when it's combined with the lane assist system, because the comfort of driving long trips is just an upgrade from where I came from. If you're interested in the lane assist systems, please check out the video here at the top. And if you're interested in more Tiggo 8 Pro features, please check out the playlist here at the bottom. Thank you so much. Hanggang sa ulitin, kita-kits.